Hello, and welcome to Business Focus, produced by the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce. My name is Angela Inzerillo with Impact Business Solutions, and I'm privileged to be your host as we highlight the great work our local businesses are doing. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2024. And what a great kickoff to the new year that we have for you today. Kicking it off, Mr. Charles Kapur, the president and CEO of the Reston Chamber, here to share all that's coming on up at the Chamber in the new year. We have got a great lineup of signature events, monthly events, quarterly events, and we're going to share that all with you first off. Next, meet the lovely Kristy LoSapio with Food for Neighbors, here to talk about their mission of ending childhood hunger, specifically for middle and high school students. Last but not least, the wonderful Mr. Jonathan Gessert, here to talk today about how he started his business, 321 Web Marketing, and how he's brought it through success and sharing his entrepreneurial journey. Let's go meet them. So please welcome my first guest, the familiar face, President and CEO of the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Charles Kapur. Charles, welcome.
Thank you, Angela. I'm like that lucky penny that you just can't get rid of. It's always in the bottom of your pocket.
Hey, you're good at this. So it's great to have you on the show. You know, as I always say, the Chamber is got so much going on.
It really does.
That here we are taking the opportunity. By the way, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Thank you. 2024. When did that happen? I know. So we figured, hey, here's a great time to segment some talking time about what's coming up and share with the audience different events that are happening that they can get engaged in, obviously be a part of for marketing opportunities. But yeah, let's talk about the spring. It'll be here before you know it.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I think most businesses and most of our members realize spring is when they get after it, right? I mean, it's the best time for business development, best time for economic development. And so that's where we get into some of the heaviest part of our calendar as far as premier programs is in the spring. So certainly a lineup of some great events, starting off with the Fairfax County Valor Awards, 46 years in running. That's going to be on April 11th at the Hyatt Regency here at the Reston Town Center. For the last 2 years, we've had over 600 folks come in, and roughly 200 of our finest men and women from Fairfax County Police, Sheriff, Fire, and Rescue who have been awarded for acts of bravery, and we anticipate another stellar turnout from the community. So that's on April 11th. The following week, on April 17th, is our Titans of the Toll Road.
Yes.
So this is our tech-focused event that happens twice a year. And we always keep it going with something that's innovative and kind of bleeding edge as far as interesting topics. What we're looking to talk about is the future of the space economy.
Wow.
You look at Blue Origin, you look at SpaceX, you know, there's billions of dollars going into outer space and monetizing that. So we're going to talk about what does that mean for our local business sector?
Yeah, it's not just about becoming an astronaut.
No, it's not. No. There's a lot of money to be had, a whole new world of business up in the moon and beyond. So we'll be tackling that at the next Titans of the Toll Road. More details about that.
Yeah.
And then on Thursday, May 2nd, is our 12th annual Northern Virginia B2G Matchmaking Conference and Small Business Expo. That's a mouthful.
It is.
That is the largest business development for government contractors outside the Capital Beltway. We have 300 small government contractors matching up with 4 or 5 dozen prime and federal agency procurement managers for a day of just accelerating the RFP process. And then the Small Business Expo, where we get service providers who want to do business with those government contractors that have the opportunity for a half day of networking and business development. So it is a fantastic event. There's really nothing else like it. We partner with the DC office of the SBA to pull that together. If you are a government contractor or you want to work with a government contractor, you definitely want to be at B2G on Thursday, May 2nd.
Yeah, between the education, the expo, but of course the matchmaking, it's really, as soon as that gets put on the website, people got to get signed up and registered. It's one of our largest events of the year.
RestonChamber.org,
Yeah.
all of the links, all the events for registration. If your company wants to promote themselves, sponsorship opportunities always available. Continue to check our website, and we'll continue to put more news and updates as they occur.
Well, I know that we are in the second half of my reign, so we'll round out the year with some sort of chairman's luncheon, probably through the beginning summer as well, as we start our new fiscal year, July 1st.
We do. We end our year on June 30th, and we commemorate that with an annual luncheon. It's our annual meeting, our annual corporate meeting. It's where we will recognize you for your year of service and recognize changes that we'll have on our board of directors and our leadership team. So that'll be coming up, in June as we close out the chamber's fiscal year.
Yeah. So, we also had one of our largest Chamber 101s last week or earlier this week, right? Where people come and learn more about the chamber. So in addition to these signature events, don't discount the fact that every month on the second Wednesday in the morning at the chamber, we do Chamber 101 if you want to learn more about it. And then, of course, all of the other networking opportunities between net nights, networking before died, committee and council meetings.
Absolutely. This is the time of the year where we get outreach from so many local businesses that want to get involved, right? They know what their sales goals are for 2024. They've heard about the chamber. Maybe they've it's been a while since they've been to a chamber event, and they want to know, how do I get started? How do I jump in to the Greater Reston Chamber? You brought up Chamber 101. I would say that is the best opportunity for folks who want to learn about the chamber. It is, like you said, the second Wednesday of every month at our office, completely free. A couple of hours of being able to network with other folks who are in the same spot, wanting to learn more. It is Chamber 101. It is our monthly orientation. The best way that I would recommend anyone who wants to figure out if the chamber is right for their business to come to that event. And then the other thing is, if you just really want the best of networking, is our monthly networking nights. The fourth Tuesday of every month is our annual networking night. Locations are on our website. It is the best way to meet and greet all of your local business neighbors for a fun evening of fellowship and networking.
It is perfect. And one thing you highlighted, which I want to highlight here for a second, is that, there are sponsorship opportunities and marketing opportunities at all levels for all size businesses. So, you can spend as little as $100 or as much as several thousand, depending upon your company level and your opportunity and event. So I want to make sure people know. That's why we're sharing about all these events, because all this. So I think the best way for people to learn is just go to RestonChamber.org.
RestonChamber.org. You'll have our events calendar. You can contact the staff if you've got any questions. And then again, like you mentioned, and I would emphasize, Chamber 101. Come out to that and hear everything that you want. Get your questions answered. It's phenomenal. And jump in. I mean, I could tell you there's no secret formula to how you can support your business and get connected with other people in Reston than to just show up. I mean, just show up at a chamber event and you're going to be pleased and happy that you did.
Yeah, the energy and the opportunity is perfect for every business, especially now, beginning of the year. But Charles, great to see you as always.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing what's coming up at the chamber, all these activities, events, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Angela. Look forward to seeing you as well.
So please welcome my next guest, Kristy LoSapio, Director of Fundraising for Food for Neighbors. Kristy, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's great to see you. Yeah, Food for Neighbors.
Yes.
I am so excited to learn. You're a new member of the chamber, and I'm learning about what you guys are doing. And we just had to get you on the show for all the great things that you're doing and to share with the community. So thanks for being here.
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to.
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, I know you're a volunteer and you're doing a lot for the organization, but how did you get started? You're there a couple of years. How did you get to Food for Neighbors?
I got to Food for Neighbors through an ad in the Herndon High School newsletter. So my kids went to Herndon High School, And I started having, as they get older and you have a little bit more free time, I was looking for volunteer opportunity, and it came through to be the Herndon area manager for Food for Neighbors a couple of years ago. So I, jumped on that, kind of interviewed. And so for the last 2 years, I was managing our relationships with all the schools in the Herndon Reston area, middle schools and high schools. And then more recently, just a couple of months ago, I became part of the executive team and am now the director of fundraising.
Fantastic. And I know you got a lot going on with that too. So you've got over 40 something locations and you're still growing. So we'll talk a little bit more about that too. But quickly, the mission and the vision, so people can kind of understand what you do right off the bat.
Sure. So Food for Neighbors' mission is to end child hunger in Northern Virginia. But more specifically, we really target working with middle school and high school students. So teenagers, basically.
Yeah.
Making sure that they have enough food to eat while they're in school, but more importantly, when they're not in school, like in the evenings, weekends, and holiday breaks.
Do you find that most people don't realize that age range is in that category?
Yeah, I don't think people think about teenagers very much and what their needs are and where they're struggling. But there's a lot of support at the elementary school level for, weekend packs and to get kids food for the weekend, but it kind of falls off at the middle and high school level. And our founder, Karen Joseph, realized that when she was PTA president of Herndon Middle School. And she was like, there has to be an organization out there. She couldn't find one. And so she just made one. And that's how we were born 7 years ago.
So the numbers are alarming. You said like 1 in 3 students?
Yes. In Fairfax County, 1 in 3 students is what we call food insecure. Okay. And at Herndon High School, it's more like 1 in 2. South Lakes is the average, Fairfax average, about 1 in 3.
Yeah, it's alarming. So thank you for what you do. And let's share more about like how people get involved. But tell me a little bit more about, how you serve the community. And it probably has to do with some of these programs and services that you offer.
Yep. So the way we support these kids is through our main thing is what we call our Red Bag program, which is where we get our food donations. So members of the community fill up, we have red grocery bags. They fill up the grocery bag with the list of items on our list, which is shelf stable foods. So the schools can store them in their pantries, foods that teenagers generally like and can prepare themselves. So it's really focused on the teenagers themselves, not the family so much.
Right.
And the red bags get put out on the porch on the day of an event. We have volunteers who go around and collect all the red bags, and then the food gets sorted into bins and sent to the schools the same day. So we really go directly to where the kids are in the schools. We also collect toiletries for them as part of, our growth. We've added toiletries into the program because they're really expensive. But in addition, we also run a couple of programs for grocery store gift cards. So we'll take money from donations and give the kids grocery store gift cards to get home and to take home. And that's kind of where the family gets a little bit more involved. And, that's really special around the holidays so that families can buy some of the fresh fruits and vegetables that, they're not getting from the school pantry in order to celebrate the holidays with the foods that mean the most to them.
And it sounds like a lot of these students too are on their own, right? They don't necessarily have a parent that's living here.
Yeah, it's amazing the number of students that are kind of supporting themselves. That was absolutely shocking to me when I learned that, especially, in a community like ours that has a large immigrant population. Sometimes things happen and the parents get sent back to their home country or just have to go back for some reason. The kids are on their own for a little while or a long while. And so they have to figure this stuff out themselves. And so we're here to help support them and get them food that they need.
Yeah. And they're working and they've got to pay rent. And they've got to support potentially, their siblings. And so this is such a critical thing you do. I'm so glad you're here and able to share. Great part of being a part of the chamber too, is we're so connected to the community, organizations like you, but the businesses too. And the businesses really want to support what you guys are doing in organizations. So you'll see a lot of organizations raising their hand and say, yes, we'll take your red bag, and fill it up for you. We do a lot during the holidays, but I know you have these programs throughout the year. I think your next one is coming up in March. Is that right?
Yes, March 9th is our next red bag event.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely make sure that we get that promoted and we get supporting you guys. But Kristy, it was great to meet you and be here. How can people learn more, get involved? And, I know you probably have a bunch of different ways for people to get involved.
Yeah, the easiest way to find out all the information is go to our website, which is foodforneighbors.org.
Okay. Yeah, great. So donation, like you said, kind of monetary, food and programming, but
exactly. You can volunteer at events. You can kind of create your own food drives. There's various ways. It's all on our website.
Well, we're excited to be here, support you, and thank you for coming on today. I know you just joined the chamber, so this is a great opportunity, and I look forward to meeting you in person soon.
Yeah, same. Thank you so much for having me. This was great.
My pleasure.
Bye.
So please welcome my next guest, Jonathan Gessert, CEO of 321 Web Marketing. Jonathan, welcome.
Angela, how are you doing?
I am fantastic. What did you say earlier?
If I was doing any better, there'd be two of me.
I love it. It's awesome. I don't know. I think one of you is fantastic, and I'm glad you're here. And I'm really excited for the folks to meet and learn a little bit more about 321, but more specifically you, because you've got a very exciting entrepreneurial journey. So let's kick it off. Before, I usually like to ask how you started your company and how you got to it, but we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. So why don't you just first tell us, what is 321 Web Marketing?
Of course. Well, 321 Web Marketing, I founded it back in January 2013. And basically back then we were focused especially on SEO and web development. That was just the things that got us really excited.
Oh yeah.
And over the last 11 years, we have really evolved into being a fractional marketing department where we support basically owners, executives, and marketing managers that really want to transform their organization to get really a fractional marketing department in place and make their vision happen where they can be sane about it and, just really drive results. So that's where we've gone to after many years of development.
Yeah, 11 years. So you started super young. So that's why I want to share with the audience a little bit more about your story, because it's a really successful entrepreneurial story, because you started super young, right? You said you started your business 11 years ago. So why don't you share a little bit more about your story and kind of how it relates to you starting your business at such a young age and then growing it to such a success that it is today?
Of course. So for perspective for people, I started this when I was 23. You can only imagine how young I looked when I was going to chamber events trying to meet people.
Yeah.
And, today we now have 13 full-time employees and 14 contractors, and we're supporting organizations as large as $112 million a year in revenue with different support services. So yeah, kind of discussing the story about 321 Web Marketing. I basically followed the Branson method of when somebody asked me, could I do something? I just said yes, even though I'd never done it before. And
nobody else does that. I mean, we all do it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, basically I spent, somebody was paying somebody $5,000 a month for legal marketing for 3 years and got nowhere with it. Me personally, they just asked me if I could do their logo, which I had experience with that. But then after that, they asked me, could I do their marketing and really just their website. So
yeah.
I told them, sure thing, pay me $1,500 a month, which just meant I was a cheap date.
Yeah.
And with my engineering background, to my surprise, within 3 months, we were ranking #1 for Fairfax Business Attorney. So, basically at that point, I realized okay, there's really a need for this. And the people who are currently doing it, they must be wonderful salesmen, but I don't think they can execute. So I guess what's really funny is I didn't realize I was ignorant to what it was going to take. I was basically a fool whistling in the dark.
Yeah.
And I quit my job and decided to do this full time, making $24,000 a year.
Yep.
And what was funny was at that time, my manager, I told him, hey, if I don't do well in 6 months, I'm going to come back. And he told me, better give it a year.
Yeah, exactly. People don't understand how important it is. You have to have that runway and build time.
Funny thing is, after actually going through this over the last 11 years and helping out a lot of other people, at the end of every year, I said, better give it another year. And, finally, about 3 years ago, I stopped saying that just because it's just it doesn't make sense for me to do anything else but do this. I just love what I do. So, I mean, what I love about this is I have the freedom of time, the freedom of money, the freedom of purpose. I love what I do, and the freedom of working with who I want to. And that is just the thing that excites me every day.
That's the ultimate. That's the absolute ultimate. So yeah, over the course of these last 11 or so years, what would you say are the biggest lessons that you learned? Because I think we're talking to probably a lot of business owners out there who maybe have been doing business less than a couple of years, right? So what do you think are those biggest lessons that you've learned that you can kind of mentor or advise to?
You know, there's three things that I would probably give somebody a piece of advice on. You know, one I would say is you don't have to do this by yourself. A lot of people think that being strong is basically figuring it out by yourself, but probably the best thing I did and why I had so much success was I just kept trying to find people who had what I want. And I asked them, how did you do that? Yep. I did that over and over again, unapologetically. And you know what? The people who had what I wanted, what I found out is they give it away for free. Yep. They love helping you out.
I was just going to say, you ask for help. People want to help. They're genuine. And not many people do that, reach out now. So that's a great number one.
Yeah. And it's amazing because once you are successful, your success becomes their success.
Absolutely. Yep.
And I do the same thing. You know, you pay it forward.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think the other thing I would say is basically everybody experiences financial fear no matter what. But, you know, effectively, I would basically say that anybody who's trying to get the treasures of being an entrepreneur without wanting the entrepreneurial journey is not going to do well. You have to really want to have the journey. And, you know, my mantra for the last 3 years is every day I've been telling myself, enjoy the journey.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And the third thing that I would really say here is I love the Bill Gates quote, and I read it at the beginning of it, and then I experienced it, and it's 100% true. People overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but they underestimate what they can do in 10.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I have lived that. That's 100% true. You have to, you know, it's not that you have to have a clear vision of where you're going in 10 years, but through these low daily little activities, it ends up amounting to something so much bigger than you ever could have imagined.
Yeah, I love your vision. You're really, really smart to want to partner with other people. You're like you said, you reach out, ask for help, and get out from other entrepreneurs and mentors. People have done what you want to do. So one of them is the chamber. I know that you got involved in chambers. I'm a chamber gal. So share a little bit more about kind of, your what membership means to you. And then more specifically, of course, can you touch on, you know, why Reston Chamber?
Of course. Well, I love this book I read recently called 10X is Easier Than 2X. And what's so wonderful about that book is, you know, they had me look back in that book about every moment that changed the trajectory of my life and just kind of map it out. And I got to tell you, back in 2014, when I first joined my first chamber that was in Northern Virginia, that was a trajectory changer for me. And what I thought I was going to get out of that was, I didn't know what I was going to get out of it. I was working in my basement, and my business partner at the time said, you just get out there and just start talking to people. So I did it. You know, at first I could tell that people, they were like, I don't know whether I like this guy or not. Is he just going to just sell me on things?
Right.
But I just, you know, I gave a lot of myself just trying to really get to know the people in the community. And over time, I got so much more than I thought maybe I'm going to get leads out of this, but I never did. This is what I got out of it.
Yeah.
I had 3 mentors, and all these people just gave so much of themselves saying, oh, Jonathan, you're having this problem. You should talk to this person and do this thing.
Yeah.
So getting out of that bubble and talking to the people in the chamber was huge. And right now, I would say with the Reston Chamber, I've been a part of a lot of organizations that really help out with that community part of it. But what's special about the Reston Chamber is the moment I came in, I could just tell people were really connected with the community. I could tell they were active with it. On top of that, it's healthy. You know, you have young people, old people, small businesses, large businesses. It's got a very healthy community inside it that's very diverse. And that's something that I'm so grateful to be a part of.
Well, we are so excited to have you as a member, and thank you for being here today. As I always say, time flies when you're having fun. I could talk to you all day. I love it. This is great. Thank you for your story. I loved hearing about your business and your success and sharing that with the audience. So what's the best way for folks to get in touch or learn more about you and 321?
Definitely. Well, if anybody wants to get in touch with me or learn more, I encourage either emailing me at jonathan@321webmarketing.com. That's my personal email, and I definitely monitor at all times. The second place I would try is www.321webmarketing.com, our website to learn more.
Perfect. And I know you're on LinkedIn, so people can find you there too, which I always encourage. Well, Jonathan, great to see you. Thanks for being on the show, and Happy New Year. And
Angela.
I
Cheers
know, 2024. I know. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you soon.
All right. Thanks, Angela.
Well, there you have it. Another fabulous business focus produced by the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce. Thank you to my guests that stopped by today to kickstart 2024 with me. Charles Kapur with the Reston Chamber, sharing all the events that are happening up at the Chamber. Check out their calendar, and I hope to see you at an event soon. Then Kristy LoSapio with Food for Neighbors. Love their mission and what they are doing to end childhood hunger in Northern Virginia, specifically middle school and high school students. I hope you can support them too. Next and last but not least, Mr. Jonathan Gessert with 321 Web Marketing. Love hearing his success story as an entrepreneur. I look forward to seeing you next time.